Standard 7 Planning for Development and Learning. Accomplished early childhood teachers plan for children's development and learning by setting developmentally appropriate goals and designing learning activities to achieve those goals. Teachers use their professional knowledge of child development, the diverse needs of the individual children in their class, and learning standards to select and design appropriate activities, resources, and formal and informal assessments. Accomplished teachers plan instruction with attention to foundational concepts and to the whole child, and they ensure that children have substantial opportunities for learning in all subject areas. Setting goals and objectives. Accomplished early childhood teachers focus on a variety of dimensions when setting goals and objectives for young children. They focus on each child's entering developmental level to set individual goals, and they consider children's shared needs to set group goals. Teachers consider children's prior knowledge in relation to curriculum content and standards, and they take into consideration the academic and social context in which they teach. Teachers respond sensitively when collaborating with families to determine appropriate outcomes for children, and they guide children and families to set challenging yet achievable goals. Accomplished teachers make well-balanced decisions based on research and theory, their professional experience, and their knowledge of children and proven practices. And they collaborate with colleagues to articulate goals for teaching and learning. Accomplished early childhood teachers are skilled at sequencing goals. They strive to achieve a firm understanding of where children are now and what children's needs are for future growth. As often as possible, teachers integrate children's interests within the framework of curricular and developmental goals. Accomplished teachers establish logistical links between short and long-term goals and objectives. When setting goals, they apply the knowledge that young children build understanding from the concrete to the abstract, from whole to part, and from the simple to the complex. In sequencing goals for mathematics learning, for instance, accomplished teachers might introduce the concept of fractions with manipulatives such as paper strips, then move to less concrete representations such as drawings, and finally make the transition to abstract numerical symbols. Accomplished early childhood teachers understand the range of development that is typical for a given age group. They set goals and plan for children whose development falls outside this range. They collaborate with a variety of specialists, including health professionals, teachers of children with gifts and talents, and psychologists to skillfully differentiate learning experiences for children with exceptionalities. Teachers know that families have insights into children's functioning and adaptation that may not be manifest in the school setting. Consequently, teachers make special efforts to learn from those families in order to involve them in decision-making and goal setting. Designing and selecting activities and resources. After setting goals, accomplished early childhood teachers design and select developmentally appropriate activities, resources, experiences to help children reach those goals. They are proactive when designing and selecting instructional activities and resources. They anticipate learning outcomes, child engagement, and possible misconceptions related to activities, including play activities. When designing learning experiences, teachers consider the kinds of activities that spark children's excitement and enjoyment. Accomplished teachers use foresight to gather resources and consider social arrangements in order to increase the likelihood that children will experience success. Since play has a key role in integrating young children's development, accomplished teachers design play activities that help children process life experiences and understand content across the curriculum. Teachers design a dramatic play area that offers opportunities for young children to develop socially, cognitively, linguistically, physically, emotionally, and ethically. Accomplished early childhood teachers design activities in ways that ensure equitable participation for diverse learners, including those who need special support. Accomplished teachers understand that individual young children develop in different ways and at varying rates. They also understand that children learn and express themselves best through different modalities. Whereas some are primarily verbal learners, others learn best through music, art, or movement. Accomplished teachers devise learning activities that can be differentiated to accommodate all learning styles, and they construct multiple entry points so that all children can participate. Furthermore, they are sensitive to the cultural diversity in their classroom when planning and developing learning activities, and they find ways to embed cultural resources in the classroom. Accomplished early childhood teachers design learning activities that are coherent and connected. They ensure that learning unfolds in logical ways across days, months, and beyond. They plan thematic units that seamlessly connect ideas from different subject areas, and they develop authentic experiences that help children appreciate that what they are learning relates to the world beyond the educational setting. Accomplished teachers design and select activities that move learners from less to more complex levels of thinking. As young children begin to acquire information, process knowledge, and develop their metacognitive skills, teachers plan activities and events that help young children develop their skills of remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. They encourage discovery, problem solving, and critical and creative thinking. One relevant, accomplished teachers integrate technology into instruction. For example, after studying ecology, the teacher could provide opportunities for children to create interactive games or presentations that demonstrate their understanding of ways to reduce, reuse, conserve, and recycle. Accomplished early childhood teachers are knowledgeable about a broad range of instructional resources. They evaluate resources according to a range of criteria: child safety, age appropriateness, applicability to different disciplines and learning goals, potential for multiple forms and levels of engagement, and relevance to young learners' interests and prior experiences. They are adept at selecting, combining, adapting, and creating print and non print media resources, including current and emerging technologies. When technology resources are scarce, accomplished teachers find creative ways to ensure that young children have equitable access. Teachers collaborate with colleagues to critically analyze curriculum resources such as textbooks, adapting and using the suggested activities to support developmentally appropriate and culturally sensitive learning experiences. Accomplished teachers continually seek out and review new books and games, various forms of technology and media, and manipulative materials. They also find new ways to use familiar items in the classroom. When evaluating, selecting, adapting, and using instructional resources, accomplished teachers may consult with children, families, colleagues, and community partners. Accomplished early childhood teachers use community resources to enrich learning experiences for young children. They involve older siblings or schoolmates, parents, colleagues, and other community members to enhance classroom learning experiences. They plan ways to connect children to the community, both by taking children into the community and by inviting community members into the educational setting. A teacher might set up a regular Saturday event in a local bookstore in which children and parents meet to enjoy stories and encounter new children's books. The teacher might also invite local artists to display their work in the educational setting. Accomplished teachers monitor news events and developments in sports, the arts, and popular culture that interest children. Then they plan appropriate ways to use these elements to enrich instruction. Accomplished early childhood teachers plan for a variety of flexible grouping strategies, from whole class to small group, partner, and individual activities, in order to facilitate classroom management and to improve learning. Teachers use grouping for many purposes, such as enhancing both cooperation among children and individual autonomy. They have many ways to think about grouping, including children's interests and learning styles, and how groups necessarily change over time. An accomplished teacher might plan an activity in which members of a small group practice waiting their turns, speaking one at a time, and listening and repeating what others have said as a means of developing group social skills. Teachers' plans include teaching children to use a combination of mutual and individual responsibility to solve problems and resolve conflicts. When grouping, teachers take into account children's personalities, how children get along with one another, and individual learning styles in order to maximize children's productive engagement in learning. For example, after grouping a child who is adept in a certain subject area with peers who need extra support, an accomplished teacher would carefully monitor the arrangement to ensure that the expert child is being sufficiently challenged and that the other children are having sufficient opportunities to learn rather than relying on their classmate to do the work. Accomplished teachers also consider equity, fairness, and diversity when grouping. This is the end of Standard 7.